The accidental encounter. The Horizon wasn't built for war. The sleek exploration vessel, with its curved hull and gleaming sensor arrays, was designed to map uncharted star systems and conduct peaceful scientific missions. Captain Maya Chen had led her crew of 43 humans through 17 successful expeditions, cataloging exoplanets and collecting valuable data for Earth's burgeoning interstellar efforts. Navigation error confirmed, Captain. Lieutenant Omar Rice reported, his voice tight with tension. The quantum jump calculations were off by 0.002%. We're nowhere near the Cygnus expanse. Maya leaned forward in her command chair, studying the holographic display that shimmered before her. The stars here were arranged in unfamiliar patterns, and the nearby planetary system radiated unusual energy signatures, unlike anything in their database. Where exactly are we, Lieutenant? Omar's fingers danced across his console. Unknown, Captain. This system isn't in any of our charts, but these energy readings, he paused, swallowing hard. They're artificial and massive. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had encountered only 3 other spacefaring species in their 50 years of interstellar exploration. All had been pre-FTL civilizations, technologically centuries behind Earth. Whatever created these energy signatures was far more advanced. Detecting multiple objects approaching at high velocity, announced Security Chief Amara Okafor, her dark eyes fixed on her tactical display. Configuration unknown. They're moving too fast for anything in our database. Maya's mind raced. First contact protocols dictated peaceful intentions and open communications, but something about this situation felt wrong. The approaching vessels moved with predatory precision. Shields up, power to defensive systems, she ordered calmly. Amara, ready countermeasures but hold fire. Omar, prepare a jump calculation to get us out of here. Communications broadcast standard first contact package on all frequencies. The crew responded with practiced efficiency despite the tension crackling through the air. The Horizon's shields hummed to life, modest protection designed for micrometeorite deflection, not warfare. Before Communications Officer Kai Zhang could execute the broadcast, the ship's systems flickered. The lights dimmed momentarily as an invisible force sliced through their data space. "We're being scanned," reported Science Officer Dr. Leila Nazari, her eyes wide. "It's unlike anything I've seen. The scan is penetrating all our systems simultaneously." The main view screen activated without command, displaying a symbol, a spiral of blue light surrounding a perfect sphere. Then came a voice, artificial and cold, speaking perfect English as if plucked directly from their minds. "Primitive vessel, you have violated the sovereign territory of the Azurian Empire. Your presence is unauthorized. Your technology is inferior. Your existence is inconsequential. Surrender immediately for processing." Maya stood, staring at the symbol. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the United Human Systems vessel Horizon. We entered your space accidentally and mean no harm. We request safe passage to depart." The response was immediate. "Request denied. The penalty for unauthorized entry is subjugation. Prepare for boarding and biological cataloging." On the tactical display, the approaching vessels accelerated. Now visible through the viewports, they were sleek, almost translucent crafts that seemed to bend light around them, not ships so much as weapons given form. "Captain," Omar said quietly, "jump calculations complete, but—" He hesitated. "They've done something to our drive. Quantum signatures are destabilized." Maya's face hardened. "So we can't run." "They're deploying some kind of energy net," Amara reported, "trying to immobilize us." The decision took Maya less than a heartbeat. Humanity hadn't survived centuries of its own brutality and the harsh realities of space exploration by surrendering. "Reverse thrust, full power," she commanded. "Aim for the gap between those 2 smaller vessels. Weapons hot." Her crew stared at her in shock. "Captain," Kai protested, Their technology is clearly centuries beyond. They expect us to surrender. Maya cut him off. They don't expect us to fight. That's our advantage. Humans have been outgunned throughout our entire history, and we're still here. The horizon lurched as its engines roared to life, pushing against the energy net that sought to ensnare it. The ship's modest weapons, mining lasers repurposed for defense, powered up. They're locking weapons, Amara warned. Fire countermeasures, all of them, Maya ordered, and broadcast wide-spectrum interference. Maximum power. The horizon released its electromagnetic countermeasures, designed to confuse primitive guidance systems, not whatever the Azurians used. But Maya was counting on surprise, not effectiveness. The human ship surged forward, trailing a cloud of chaff and electronic noise. The Azurian vessels, momentarily confused by the unexpected resistance, adjusted their formation. Their weapons are tracking us, Amara reported, her voice steady despite the odds. Impact in 3, 2. The first Azurian energy pulse struck the horizon's shields, overwhelming them instantly. The ship shuddered violently. Damage reports flooded in from all sections, but Maya remained standing, eyes fixed on the tactical display. Auxiliary power to engines. Continue on course. The horizon plunged toward the gap between the Azurian vessels. Behind them, the energy net collapsed as the interference disrupted its coherence. It wasn't much, but it was enough. They're adjusting, Omar warned. We won't make it through that gap. Maya smiled grimly. We're not trying to escape. Chief Engineer Patel, initiate plasma venting sequence. All nacelles. From engineering, Ravi Patel's voice came through clearly. Captain, that'll contaminate our warp coils. We'll be stranded even if we survive. Do it anyway, Maya ordered. The horizon suddenly released controlled bursts of plasma from its engine nacelles, a maintenance procedure never intended as a weapon. The superheated matter sprayed outward in a brilliant display, temporarily blinding the Azurian sensors. In the confusion, Maya ordered a hard turn, sending the horizon into a spiraling dive toward the nearest planet, a gas giant with dozens of moons. Their formation is breaking, Amara reported with disbelief. They didn't expect that. Dr. Nazari suddenly straightened at her science station. Captain, I'm detecting something unusual. When our plasma discharge interacted with their hull material, it created a cascade effect in their energy distribution. Vulnerability? Maya asked sharply. Possibly. Their technology seems to rely on perfect energy harmonization. Our chaotic plasma discharge disrupted it momentarily. For the first time, a glimmer of real hope shone through the desperation. Maya turned to Ravi, who had emerged onto the bridge, his uniform stained with coolant fluid. Can we weaponize that disruption? Create something more focused? The engineer's eyes lit up with the challenge. Maybe. Their systems seem to operate on principles similar to quantum entanglement. If we could force a decoherence. Do it, Maya ordered. Everyone else, prepare for emergency atmospheric insertion. We're hiding in that gas giant's upper atmosphere while we make repairs. The Azurian voice returned, but now it carried something new, a hint of confusion. Human vessel, your resistance is irrational. You cannot prevail. Your biological and technological distinctiveness will be cataloged and then eliminated. Maya stepped forward, facing the view screen directly. You've never encountered humans before, have you? Let me tell you something about us. We don't surrender just because we're outmatched. We adapt. We overcome. And we don't bow to empires. She signaled Kai to cut the transmission, then turned to her crew. We may not make it home, but we're going to make sure the Azurians remember the first humans they met. And we're going to find a way to warn Earth about what's waiting out here. The horizon plunged toward the swirling storms of the gas giant, trailing damage but unbowed. Behind them, the Azurian vessels regrouped, but more slowly now, with caution that hadn't been there before. They had expected submission. They had received defiance. And somewhere in the cold calculations of their perfect technology, uncertainty had taken root. Part 2. The Rise of Resistance. 14 days. That's how long the UA's Horizon had survived in the churning atmosphere of the gas giant Ravi had nicknamed Sanctuary. 14 days of desperate repairs, ingenious adaptations, and growing understanding of their enemy. Captain Maya Chen stood in the makeshift war room that had once been the ship's mess hall. Displayed before her were the combined findings of her crew's analysis of the Azurian technology, cobbled together from sensor readings, and the wreckage of a scout drone they'd managed to disable during their escape. The Rise of Resistance. 14 days. That's how long the UA's Horizon had survived in the churning atmosphere of the gas giant Ravi had nicknamed Sanctuary. 14 days of desperate repairs, ingenious adaptations, and growing understanding of their enemy. Captain Maya Chen stood in the makeshift war room that had once been the ship's mess hall. Displayed before her were the combined findings of her crew's analysis of the Azurian technology, cobbled together from sensor readings and the wreckage of a scout drone they'd managed to disable during their escape. They're not just advanced, Dr. Nazari explained, pointing to the molecular structure displayed on the screen. They've evolved their technology to a point where it's practically an extension of thought. Their ships respond to neural patterns transmitted through quantum entanglement. But they have a weakness, Ravi added, stepping forward. His eyes were bloodshot from days without proper sleep, but they gleamed with excitement. Their whole civilization is built on perfect harmony, perfect predictability. Their quantum systems can't handle chaotic input. And humans, Maya said with a grim smile, are nothing if not chaotic. The gathered crew chuckled. A small moment of levity in their desperate situation. The Horizon remained functional but barely. Life support was stable, propulsion limited, and their quantum drive irreparable with available resources. They were stranded in hostile territory, but they were alive. What about communications? Maya asked. Any progress on breaking through their blockade? Communications Officer Kai nodded cautiously. Yes and no. We can't send a direct signal to Earth. The distance is too great, and they're jamming conventional channels. But we've been picking up transmissions from other species within the Empire. Some of them sound dissatisfied. This caught Maya's attention. Potential allies. Possibly. Amara joined in. From what we can decode, the Azurians have subjugated dozens of species across this sector. Their empire spans at least 300 star systems, all controlled through technological supremacy and perfect information control. Maya paced the room, processing this information. So they're bullies who've never been challenged. And they maintain control by convincing everyone they're invincible. Exactly, Ravi confirmed. But our plasma disruption showed they're not. And I've been working on something better. He activated his tablet, displaying schematics for a modified weapon system. I call it the Chaos Engine. It generates deliberately unpredictable quantum fluctuations that should cascade through their entangled systems. Maya studied the design. Will it work? In theory, Ravi admitted. But we'd need to get close to one of their major nodes to have a sector-wide effect. The room fell silent. Getting close to any Azurian installation seemed impossible with their damaged ship and limited resources. That's when Lieutenant Omar spoke up from his position near the door. Captain, I think I found something. A transmission that doesn't fit the Azurian pattern. It's coming from the third moon. The tactical display shifted to show a small rocky moon orbiting the gas giant. Barely habitable, its surface scarred by ancient impacts. Life signs? Maya asked. Faint, but present, Omar confirmed. And they're using a communications protocol that's deliberately masking itself from Azurian detection. Maya's decision was immediate. Prep the shuttle. Amara, select a security team. We're going to make contact. Hours later, Maya found herself standing in an underground cavern that hummed with salvage technology. Before her stood an assemblage of aliens unlike any humans had encountered before. 6 different species working together in what was clearly a resistance cell. Their leader, A tall, crystalline being who introduced himself as Kexar regarded Maya with compound eyes that reflected the cavern's dim light. "So the rumors were true," he said, his words translated through a crude device. "A new species challenged the Dominion and survived." Maya met his gaze steadily. "We did more than survive. We found a weakness." Kexar made a sound like breaking glass, apparently laughter. "Many have claimed to find weaknesses in Azurian technology. None have exploited them successfully." In response, Maya nodded to Ravi, who activated a small device he'd brought. Immediately, the resistance cell's salvaged Azurian technology flickered and destabilized. Kexar's translator failed mid-sentence. When Ravi deactivated the device, the resistance leader's demeanor had completely changed. "How?" he demanded. "Chaos," Maya answered simply. "Unpredictability. The one thing their perfect systems can't handle, and we have a plan to amplify it across the entire sector. But we need your help." Over the following days, an unlikely alliance formed. The Resistance provided crucial intelligence about Azurian deployments and communications networks. They revealed the location of a major relay station on the system's outermost planet, a facility that connected the local Azurian forces to the wider empire. "If we can plant Ravi's Chaos engine there," Maya explained to her officers and new allies, "we can disrupt their control over this entire sector. Every subjugated world would see their oppressors falter." "The station is heavily defended," Kexar warned. "No resistance ship has ever approached within attack range and survived." Maya smiled. "That's because they're looking for resistance ships. They're not looking for an exploration vessel they believe they've already destroyed." The plan took shape. Using parts salvaged from resistance catches and the ingenuity of human engineering, the Horizon would be disguised as debris, the wreckage of its former self. It would drift toward the relay station, seemingly pushed by Sanctuary's radiation belts. Once in range, they would deploy the Chaos engine and broadcast its effects across all Azurian communication channels. "This is more than an escape plan," Maya told her crew as they prepared for the mission. "This is a chance to change the balance of power in this sector, to give hope to those who have none." 3 days later, the Horizon, now scared and deliberately damaged to appear as floating wreckage, approached the Azurian relay station. Inside, the crew worked in near darkness, all non-essential systems powered down to avoid detection. "They're scanning us," Omar reported in a whisper, though there was no need for quiet in space. "Reading us as debris." Maya nodded, watching as the massive structure grew larger on their view screen. The relay station was a marvel of engineering, a crystalline megastructure that pulsed with blue energy, connecting to thousands of nodes across the sector. "Range to deployment?" she asked. 2 minutes, Rady answered, his fingers making final adjustments to the Chaos engine, now expanded with resistance technology into something far more powerful than his original design. As they drifted closer, Amara suddenly tensed at her station. "Captain, new contact. A capital ship is emerging from FTL. It's enormous." The view screen shifted to show a vessel that dwarfed even the relay station. Unlike the smaller Azurian ships they'd encountered, this one radiated power and authority. Its hull bore the spiral sphere emblem they'd seen during first contact. "The sovereign vessel," Kexar whispered, genuine fear in his voice. "The seat of Azurian control in this sector. It comes to the relay station only once per cycle." Maya's mind raced. This wasn't part of the plan, but it represented an opportunity they couldn't ignore. "Change of plans," she announced. "We're targeting the sovereign vessel." "Captain," Omar protested, "that ship could obliterate us with a single weapon." "Precisely why we need to hit it instead," Maya replied. "Ravi, can the Chaos engine affect both targets?" The engineer nodded slowly. "If we position ourselves at the midpoint between them, yes. The quantum disruption would cascade through both structures. But we'd be at the epicenter of the effect." "Would we survive?" Ravi hesitated. "Unknown." Maya took a deep breath. "Proceed to the new coordinates. All hands, prepare for possible emergency evacuation. The Horizon adjusted course subtly, drifting toward the space between the massive sovereign vessel and the relay station. Neither Azurian structure reacted to their presence, still dismissing them as harmless debris. In position, Omar reported. Chaos engine ready for deployment. Maya stood, looking around at her crew, humans who had traveled further from home than any before them, now about to strike a blow against an empire that spanned hundreds of worlds. Activate the engine, she ordered, and broadcast everything. I want every subjugated world in this sector to see what happens next. Ravi pressed the activation sequence. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, a wave of distortion rippled outward from the horizon. Invisible to the eye but devastating to the perfectly balanced quantum systems of Azurian technology. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The relay station's crystalline structure began to pulse erratically, its blue energy flaring wildly. The sovereign vessel listed to one side, its perfect symmetry disrupted as systems failed across its massive hull. It's working, Ravi exclaimed. The quantum cascade is spreading through their network. On the communications channels Kai had opened, they could hear the confused chatter of Azurian commanders trying to regain control. For the first time, panic was evident in their artificial voices. The Horizon shuddered as feedback from the Chaos engine impacted their own systems. Warning lights flashed across every console. Hull integrity failing, Omar reported. Engine containment at risk. Maya gripped her command chair. Hold position. Continue broadcasting. Across the sector, on thousands of displays on dozens of subjugated worlds, the same image played out. The mighty sovereign vessel of the Azurian Empire, crippled and failing before an enemy they couldn't see or understand. Message from the Resistance Network, Kai announced with wonder in his voice. Uprisings are beginning on 7 worlds already. The Azurians can't coordinate their response. A new voice broke through their communications, the same cold, artificial tone they'd heard during first contact, but now fragmented and distorted. Human vessel, this transgression will not. Imperial authority will. Resistance is. Maya leaned forward, activating her direct channel. This is Captain Maya Chen of Earth. Remember this moment. Remember what happened when you threatened humans. We don't bow to empires. We break them. The Chaos engine reached critical levels, its effect now self-sustaining. The Horizon's own systems began to fail as the quantum disruption grew beyond their ability to control. We need to go, Ravi warned. The reaction is becoming exponential. Maya nodded. All hands, abandon ship, set course for the Resistance base. As the crew evacuated to the shuttles, Maya took one last look at her command center. The Horizon had been an exploration vessel, never meant for this fight. Yet in its final act, it had struck a blow for freedom that would echo across the stars. From the lead shuttle, the crew watched as the Horizon's remaining systems finally failed. The ship detonated in a brilliant flash of light and energy that engulfed both the relay station and the sovereign vessel, amplifying the Chaos engine's effect beyond anything they had calculated. What happens now? Amara asked quietly as they flew toward the safety of the Resistance base. Maya watched the distant explosions that marked the beginning of a sector-wide rebellion. Now we find a way home, and we prepare Earth for what's coming. Because the Azurians won't forget us, and they won't forgive. Kexar's crystalline form reflected the light of the explosions. You have given the Resistance something we had lost long ago. Hope. Your species has done in days what we could not achieve in generations. Maya shook her head. We just reminded you of something tyrants always forget. No empire lasts forever, especially when they make enemies who have nothing left to lose. As the shuttle disappeared into the swirling clouds of Sanctuary, news of the humans' victory spread across the sector at light speed. A legend was born of a small ship from a distant world that had challenged the throne of a mighty empire and shown that even the most advanced technology could be defeated by the chaos and determination that humans carried in their hearts. And somewhere, In the vast reaches of space, Earth continued its own explorations, unaware that its name was now being spoken with reverence on 1,000 worlds, and with fear in the chambers of a wounded empire.